What's up, family? Welcome back to Truthville, USA. I am Q. So guess what? Judge Mershon and Alvin Bragg will not be sleeping very well tonight. I promise you. They got some really bad news at the end of the day that is going to give them nightmares. I promise you. So first off, it started off poorly because Elise Stefanik wrote a scathing rebuke and also requested that there be possibly disciplinary action against Judge Mershon and the committee that's responsible for randomly assigning judges to trials. Now, I don't know what it is about the Democrats, but for as much as they talk about trust the science, they really don't follow science very often, and they definitely don't believe in simple mathematics. So these trials are supposed to go out on a randomized basis, but somehow Judge Mershon has gotten Steve Bannon's case, Donald Trump's case, and the Trump Corporation case in which he tried Mr. Weisselman. So how is it that in a random drawing, Judge Mershon ends up with all three Trump-related cases? Things that make you go, And interestingly enough, when you go to check on the over 24 judges that are available to receive these cases, guess whose name isn't on that list? Well, you guessed it, Judge Mershon's. So she definitely wants to know, how did they come to this conclusion and whose head needs to roll for somehow this randomization of picks, how they got it messed up so poorly. But not only that, towards the end of the day, as you guys know, the prosecution has rested, the defense has rested, and now it's all up to the jury. So the jury goes to deliberate, and after a couple of hours, they call for the transcripts of the Cohen and of Stormy's, and the transcripts of the prosecution. Now, that wouldn't seem like too big of a deal, except for the fact that Judge Mershon had already stacked the deck by essentially telling them they didn't have to agree on anything or any underlying felony. They just had to agree that Trump was guilty, and they'd figure it out from there. Now, those are terrible jury instructions. But with that, which you would think, that's a slam dunk. Of course he's guilty. Guilty of what? We don't know. We'll figure it out later, which is not at all the way that our justice system is supposed to work. Donald Trump should for sure know what he's guilty of, but he still has not been given an underlying felony. So interestingly enough, they asked for the transcripts, and they want to know, hey, we need to look at some things. Well, that's not the way it's supposed to work. These guys are supposed to go in there, deliberate, and come out with a guilty verdict. But now they're saying, there's some things that we don't necessarily understand. Now, look, I've told you guys from the beginning that there is going to be at least one. I believe there's going to be at least one juror who says, you know what, I don't buy it. I'm not buying it. We know that there's two attorneys on this jury. I believe that there's going to be some arguments, and I believe that there are people who are going to stand up and say, you know what, I can't do it in good conscience. I don't believe that beyond a shadow of any doubt that he is guilty. So the interesting thing to me is that with them asking for these transcripts, there's at least one person that's holding out, that's not saying, let's go to dinner, guilty, let's all go home. There's at least one person that's holding out and saying, I need to see the testimony again. Something's not adding up. And that is not good for either Bragg or Mershon. When the jurors start asking more questions and needing to dig a little bit deeper, it's not going well for the prosecution. Let me know what you guys think about this. What do you make of it? I'll be waiting to hear you guys' comments. I'll see you next time. Be blessed.